Hello, I'm here in the flesh. So I want to explain a few things real quick, and this intro is probably going to drag on a little bit. So if you're just here for the topic of the video, go ahead and click here. Otherwise, hi, I'm no longer a disembodied voice. So I've been making videos here and there since the end of 2023. I would have liked to have made more than I have, but I'm proud of what I have made and I'm proud of the progress that I've made. And in an effort to make more progress, I'm doing this now. I've gotten a lot of inspiration from other reviewers and video essay creators, and I've got some inspiration to do some green screen work in particular. I like the format of talking about movies or TV shows or whatever, like I do, but I'm also interested in putting myself in front of the footage to kind of make myself and my opinion more of a focus. And my walls are green. They're not exactly the green screen shade of green, but I'm still able to key out the background. So I felt like just testing this out and seeing how this whole setup might work. I would love to improve this further in the future with an actual green screen, better lighting, better microphone, better camera, but for the moment I'm just testing this out. If it works alright, then I'll keep doing it. If I hate it, then I'll probably just go back to how I was already doing things. Anyway, how about we get into the actual topic of the video, yeah? Tatsuki Fujimoto is a mangaka known for his works such as Fire Punch, Goodbye Eri, and most notably Chainsaw Man. He also mentored a man named Yukinobu Tatsu who went on to create Dandadan. So Fujimoto and the people around him clearly know how to tell some pretty interesting stories. Most of them do handle more adult concepts that might turn some people away, like sexual themes and graphic violence. However, these stories typically have some deeper human elements that ask some bigger questions and can really get your brain going. And back in 2021, Fujimoto made a one-shot story that went a lot deeper into those human elements, as well as the very industry he is involved in. This story is called Look Back, and today I'll be discussing the film adaptation. This is actually quite a short film with only a 58-minute runtime, so there isn't a whole lot going on. However, there are some themes that you can really dive into and ponder for a while, and I'm going to be discussing my thoughts on those. Also, I want to try to keep this spoiler free for the first two sections of this video, but after that I'm going to be spoiling everything. So go watch the movie if you don't want to be spoiled. Again, it's only about an hour, so in normal anime terms that's like 3 episodes. Just pretend you're watching the arc where Luffy finds the Dragon Balls in the Hidden Leaf Village. I don't watch shonen. Our story starts somewhere in Japan and actually spans a few different parts of the country, from the average school locations to the more rural countryside and even some big cities. This backdrop is not as important as the characters that inhabit it, but it helps for nice locales that help to make this journey feel real. The environment seems like something these characters might illustrate, and the world around them feels like it adds to their personalities. From sitting inside cramped, cluttered rooms to running through open fields or crowded streets. Every part of the setting feels like a different yet familiar part of the journey for the protagonists. And who are those protagonists? I had a hat on before because the green screen was going through my hair. It might still be doing that. But I got a haircut, so hopefully that helps, and that's why I look like this now. Also, yeah, it's a different day. I changed my shirt. Characters. This story follows not one but 2 characters, and they are actually the entire focus of the film. There are side characters like classmates or people involved with the manga business, but they're never fleshed out at all. Those side characters are there to instead flesh out the 2 protagonists, so their identities can be fully realized. The film begins with the main protagonist of Fujino. Ayumu Fujino is a 4th grade artist. She doesn't take her work too seriously, but she enjoys drawing fun cartoons for the school newspaper and, in turn, getting praise from her classmates. That is until another student starts making cartoons for the newspaper as well, and Fujino is jealous of this mysterious rival artist's work. This causes Fujino to completely give up on art for a while. It turns out, however, that this other artist wasn't a rival at all. Fujino saw the other artist as someone who was more talented and was taking away attention from her. But the other artist actually looked up to and was inspired by Fujino. Kiyomoto is the other artist and secondary protagonist, who is a very introverted girl. She doesn't go to school despite studying at the same one, and Fujino only meets Kiyomoto when she delivers her graduation award. This is the moment where Fujino finds out that the rivalry between the two was all in her head, and Kiyomoto is actually incredibly friendly, despite her social skills. The two become great friends, further pushing each other's talents to higher levels. Focusing primarily on these 2 characters is a great way to get viewers invested in their story in a short amount of time. We don't have to worry about the story being overstuffed because all the focus is on Fujino and Kiyomoto, specifically their relationship with one another and their relationship with art. Each character grows in different ways, and their connection to each other helps them improve various aspects of their lives. Unfortunately, this is still a Fujimoto story, so good things can't last forever. So, as I already mentioned, these two girls met after having a one-sided rivalry, became good friends, and eventually partners. The two young girls combined their talents to become the singular manga artists known as Kyo Fujino. They spend their high school careers drawing manga together, and each girl helps the other in a particular way. Fujino helps Kiyomoto get out of her room and see more of the world, and Kiyomoto helps Fujino stay motivated while improving her craft. Things are going great, and the girls get an opportunity for a professional deal for their manga work. But that is cut short because Kiyomoto chooses a different path. In an effort to further improve herself, she decides to go to art school. Despite this being a good thing, Fujino's stubbornness resurfaces and she doesn't show her friend any support. So the girls split apart. Kiyomoto goes to university, and Fujino focuses all her time and effort into her manga work. The two don't stay in touch as often, and of course, this is when tragedy strikes. One day, a mentally ill man wielding an axe goes to the same university that Kiyomoto is at and kills some of the students. She is among the dead, and naturally this catches Fujino by surprise. She realizes that she dedicated all her time to her work and none to her friend, and now she's gone. This causes Fujino to break and eventually head to Kiyomoto's old house, the place where they first met. And while she's there, the story takes another abrupt turn. Fujino witnesses an alternate reality, one where her and Kiyomoto's meeting didn't happen in the same way. The two don't become great friends, they barely even meet, and as a result they both go down very different paths. Kiyomoto remains an artist, however, and even attends the same college. The killer also still shows up, and tragedy almost strikes again. But luckily this time, Fujino studied karate instead of art and was in the right place at the right time. She saves Kiyomoto and they have a brief interaction, but this entire alternate reality feels wrong, primarily because the two didn't connect the same way as they did in the initial timeline. This part of the movie is where the real philosophical type of stuff comes in, and it could be a bit confusing as a plot, because I see this latter part of the movie having more of a focus on the thematic elements. So on that note, how about I continue this discussion in the next section? Since there are two protagonists who are the primary focus and they both have similar goals and talents, the themes of this story work well with one another and also contrast nicely. There are plenty of ideas here that can arise in an artistic or creative environment. Am I good enough? Can I improve any further? Do I need to improve any further? Am I not spending enough time on my creative work? Am I spending too much time on it? All these themes can be seen here, and most of them are shown through Fujino, who from the beginning is shown as a very stubborn individual. She initially creates her cartoons for fun, but once she has a rival, she dedicates all her time to improving her art. Eventually, she decides she doesn't need to dedicate all that time because she'll never be as good as Kiyomoto. But that stubborn determination doesn't leave her. Later, when the girls split apart, Fujino once again dedicates all her time to her work. This can be seen as her taking comfort in her craft and spending time doing something she enjoys. However, this can also be seen as her trying to improve for Kiyomoto's sake. Perhaps she wants Kiyomoto to be proud of her after college, or perhaps she wants to show Kiyomoto that she doesn't need help or attention, despite actually wanting it pretty bad. This is a complicated character to watch unfold, because we could see that Fujino's determination can be helpful, like it is with Kiyomoto's introversion. But her determination often turns a little toxic when she cuts herself off from everything aside from her work. And she probably realizes all this when she finds out her friend's life was cut short. None of that effort really means anything if she can't share positive or negative feelings with Kiyomoto. As for the alternate reality segment, I think this is Fujino's way of trying to make herself feel better. She tries to imagine another time where Kiyomoto survives and gets to go on with her life. This is a nice idea, but as you can see and almost feel in that segment, this reality is hollow. Fujino realizes that, while it ended tragically, her relationship with Kiyomoto wouldn't have been nearly as special if they had met later in life. Fujino helped Kiyomoto live a more fulfilling life for a time, and to someone like her, that was probably the most meaningful thing to happen to her. That's probably one of the reasons she wanted to go to art school, because she wanted to continue improving herself thanks to the push Fujino gave to her. So while these two can't be together anymore, hopefully Fujino can learn something from this that can help improve her life outside of art later down the road, and she can thankfully cherish the memories of her best friend for the rest of her life. There are also some possible negative outcomes that can stem from this, but I don't really want to think about or talk about those. This is already depressing enough. Let's just look on the bright side for now. And with that, I'm going to talk about the last aspect of this film that stuck out to me. Since this is an animated story about illustration, you would kind of hope that the art style and visuals are all great and help complement the story. And they sure do. I'm still not the best at explaining art, but I feel like this movie really has the feel of a manga. I noticed that the line art of the characters and environments doesn't look finished or perfectly drawn. There are some imperfections like you would get from an amateur, or it's just something that adds more life to the art itself. It feels rough yet real, a bit like the overall tone of the story. There are some fun moments where the art gets all dramatic like a manga panel, and there's some fun transitions like these where time is passing and the world around Fujino is changing while she stays completely engrossed in her work. Most of the artwork and animation throughout the story is like this. It's all quite simple, nothing too insane going on from a visual standpoint. But this isn't a typical Fujimoto story. It's not meant to be hectic and in your face. It's meant to be slower and more personal, and these visuals help illustrate that. I also want to briefly mention music here because these montages are the only time the score really matters. I normally would have a whole section dedicated to music, but I personally didn't find it too special in this movie. It's certainly not bad, but it doesn't stand out a whole lot to me. It supports what's on screen, but that is what takes my attention, not the score. It's not as catchy or whimsical like Spirited Away or the Legend of Zelda music, for example. Look Back's music feels a tad generic to me personally, but that doesn't make too big of a difference since the story has a strong focus on visual storytelling. Overall, I think this is a great short story, and I'm glad that Fujimoto created something that really focused on human emotions and events. I love Chainsaw Man. I've read most of the manga, and love the contrast between the insanity and the personal character moments. But something like Look Back is good too because you're almost forced to digest the feelings and emotions of these characters. This, in my opinion, allows for a short but concise story that can hit you pretty hard on an emotional level. I do personally wish there was maybe a little more to it, like maybe a few more moments between Fujino and Kiyomoto to really cement their close relationship. And again, I wish the music felt more unique so it could add a little more to the good and bad moments. But I feel like that's a minor problem that doesn't affect the overall story too much. I give Look Back a 9 out of 10. All in all, I really enjoyed this story, and I think it's a great shorter film to watch if you're looking for something swift yet special. This is a great look at how artistry and creativity can be both a blessing and a curse. It can bring you and others immense joy, but as with most things, if you spend too much time on your work, you may neglect other aspects of your life and have significant regrets. The story serves as a great warning, but also a good advertisement. If you love being creative, put time and effort into it. You'll certainly be rewarded. But never forget about your family, friends, and yourself. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please consider leaving a like and subscribing. Check out some of my other videos if you'd like, and I hope you come back soon. See you around. Hey there, I just wanted to give a few closing thoughts. So this is my first attempt at doing something with a green screen, like I said. It's probably not going to be perfect, but I just wanted to make something instead of pushing it off until I can make it perfect. And now I can hopefully see some progress as I improve, both in terms of equipment and experience. Also, I want to admit I wasn't super invested in this topic. I did really like this movie and did put effort into writing about it, but ultimately this was a test for the green screen and me being on camera. So I'm sorry if I missed something in my discussion or went over something a little too quick. I wanted this to be good, but also didn't want to spend forever perfecting the script. I plan to make most of my videos in this way from now on. Sometimes I may go back to the voiceover only type of videos, or maybe I'll try a bit of both, but I like to try and do green screen stuff much more often. As I said before, I feel like putting more of a focus on me and my opinions is a good idea for a variety of reasons. Anyway, just wanted to get that out there. Also, please go check out my last video, because I really like how it turned out, and not a lot of people saw it, so yeah, go check it out. Please, thank you. I've got ideas for some more videos that I plan to work on soon. Also, if you'd like to see my initial reaction to Look Back, I made a reaction video on my second channel, to Thick Manatee. T-O-O, Thick Manatee. Alright, goodbye. Hope to see you again for more. Fujimoto made a one-shot story that went a lot deeper into those human elements. Collapsing. 3, 2, 1. But, and I've particularly got some, fuck me. And I was like zoning out there for a second. So Fujimoto and the people around him, obviously, we don't have to fucking bitch. This part of the movie is where the real what the fuck? You would kind of hope that all don't you hope that? I hope that. Our story begins somewhere in Japan, and it actually starts. Fuck. Our story starts somewhere in Japan and actually spans a few different parts of the country. Damn it. At least I can see my funny reactions now, huh? And I can do this too. I don't. Is that allowed, YouTube? Sorry. This was a water gun. I'm squirting myself in the water gun because I'm trying to make my brain work. I don't know. Our story begins somewhere in Japan, and it actually spans a few different parts of the country. Why can't I fucking do this? Fuck off! There's a bug. Every part of the setting feels like a different. Every part of the setting feels like a different yet familiar. Fucking god, my brain is tiny. I can't think. I can't remember a couple words. Fuck. I'm fucking getting Alzheimer's at 28 years old. God damn it. Fuck. I need a damn. Fuck. I need cue cards because I can't remember anything. Son of a bitch. To blah 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 blah. Since this is an because you're almost forced. Fuck you. My fucking teeth. Damn it. Wasn't perfect. I don't fucking care. Fucking stupid ass brain. Can I put a middle finger on YouTube, bitch? Sorry. My brain is so tiny. I think the hat is cutting off the circulation or something, I guess.